What's up, everybody? How's it going? Let me just switch things over because I did not hear my intro at all. So, I don't, did any of you guys hear it? I couldn't hear it through my headphones, so I don't know if I'm hearing things. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Let me just make sure I can get audio through my headphones. Okay, so I can hear this now. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Obsidian's in the house. Jazzy's here. Raina, how's it going? Good evening. Obsidian, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member, Obsidian. How are ya? How are ya? All right. We're just going to give it a few seconds because I don't know if things are lagging on my end. The stream just started off really weird. Were you guys able to hear the intro? Because I definitely couldn't hear it, so I do apologize. You guys, I just woke up. I am extremely exhausted for some reason. I don't know what it is. Do me a favor, guys. On your way in, hit that like button. I don't know how this stream is going to turn out. We're going to be talking about some medical stuff, so you know how crazy it's going to get. So do me a favor, smash that like button. Nebby, welcome. Me Blondie. And a banana. Okay, you guys did hear it. Okay, so Heather, how's it going? You are in. Storm just got here. She's like, I don't know. I don't know if he played. I just got here. Hello. What's up, my legal eagle? How you doing? Leah. Shout outs to Michigan, you guys. Drop where you guys are tuning in from. I want to know where our reach is headed. Mac Dizzle's in the house. What's up, Mac Dizzle? Good thing you're a night owl, right? Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so we got Edmonton in the house. Alberta. Shout out to Alberta, Canada. Shout out to our family out in Canada. It's me, Carolyn, just became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. We thank you so much. Welcome to the inner circle. We appreciate you. Yeah. Cali, Rain is in Cali. There you go. That's good enough. That's good enough. I don't know. I don't need to know your addresses and everything. You guys, I want to ask you guys, what is everybody's thoughts on this medical examiner's report? El Paso, Texas, 915 in the house. Whoop, whoop. David said, I'm looking out for her. What did he say? What did David say? Hold on. I just realized I got to turn on my banners and everything. This is what YouTube wants us to do. David said, I'm looking out for her. You don't know what other chats the guys in his Discord are in. I think David knew what other creeps internet places there were in. Oh yeah, they don't need his internet history. I believe they already have it. They already have it. There is no getting away. Felicia's in the house. Alexa, you haven't seen much of the report, honestly. Okay, so we'll have a chance to go through it, and I'm sure this is everybody's umpteenth time going through it. But if you guys were in Rabbit's chat earlier, I joined her show, and we kind of reviewed it. So we're gonna take it over here to my channel. We're gonna talk about it, some of the things that we can break down. And when I review this medical examiner's report, please understand that I am in no way, shape, or form a medical examiner. The only thing that I can tell you is, the medical terminology that is used in this document is something that I understand very, very well. So that's pretty much where my expertise comes in. Tanya, you hit the like. Strategic just reviewed it. Shout out to Strategic. We got love for Strategic and Obsidians in the house too. one of the mods for Strategic. So shout out to their channel. Always showing love to our channel too. So we appreciate that. All of that is very, very much appreciated. I'm the favorite right now. I'm not the redheaded stepchild. Oh, Lord. Well, welcome, everybody. How's it going? I know it's super late. I'm not going to lie. As soon as I left Rabbits Live, I came home. I sat on the couch and I was playing with my dog. Yoshi was, sitting on the couch with me. And somehow, some way, I just got super comfortable and I dozed off. So I had a... No, nothing's wrong with the red hair. I would paint my hair red if I could. But yeah, no, I knocked out and I must have taken like a 3-hour nap, you guys. I took like a 3-hour nap, so pardon me for getting my rest in. All right, so we have the medical examiner's report. Storm, you go to bed whenever you need to. I guess as soon as this song kind of dies out, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. You have red hair, Tanya? Well, that's what's up. My mom's Irish, so she did pass that trait down to us. I got the Filipino dark hair, and now we got the white hairs growing in. So, we're embracing all the white hair. That's why I'm covering up tonight. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, you guys, because we have the medical examiner's report and we are about to review this and kind of see what, okay. So there's probably things that you guys will probably know more about this than I do, in case you guys have been watching other creators. So if there's something that I miss that I didn't catch, I need you guys to help me out and just, have that discussion in the chat. So, oh my God, I hope Yoshi asks to come on camera. That would make my night so much better. We'll have to see. How many of you guys are going to be tuning into the arraignment tomorrow? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are going to be there. Maybe not in person, but you guys are going to be just showing up. You guys are going to watch it somehow, some way. Ramona, you're watching us in chat. And you guys, by the way, we're streaming on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. So if you guys are fans on any of those other platforms, you can follow us on Flojo TV. If you are watching in the vertical mode and you don't like the vertical mode, you can always go to my channel, find the live button, and then click on that first live video. And that should take you back to the landscape mode, the regular mode. All right. So, okay, so you guys are going to be tuning in. That's for sure. Good. I'll be around, but I know there's no cameras. Yeah, so we're going to be, I don't know, everybody's going to be watching out on X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. Am I going to the doctor's tomorrow? Might dizzle you a fool. No, unfortunately, I will be at work. And there's absolutely no way for me to get around tomorrow. I was out Monday and Tuesday. So, I'm sorry. I said arraignment, the prelim tomorrow. My bad. Nobody caught that. But yeah, it's the prelim tomorrow, not the arraignment. I'm tripping. Pardon me. I'm still barely waking up. Yeah, I'm going to be at doctor court tomorrow. That's funny. Viking woman, how's it going? Crafty kid, how are you? Nebby, welcome. Alexa's here. Ava Black, how's it going? Will they stream it? Unfortunately, they won't be streaming it. But I'm sure your favorite content creators will definitely be online while I'll be at work and probably in their chat. So we're gonna read this medical examiner's report. We're gonna break it down. I also put together this quick little slide deck that we can review. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But we'll kind of breeze through this really quick. And if you guys have any questions regarding some of the medical terminology in here, this is where I can help you break it down. Where is Ant-Man? Ant-Man's locked up. He's locked up. So, yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a few people that are going to be out there tomorrow. So if you know anybody who's going to be out there, just make sure you share those creators in the chat so everybody can be in the know. All right, you guys. So here, let's see. The medical report summary. They're talking about 2 penetrating wounds of the torso. We have one to the right abdomen with injury to the liver. And then we have a left chest with penetration underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Other findings is bilateral dismemberment of the upper and lower extremities, multiple additional skin defects. So basically, they were saying that she was stabbed in the stomach with whatever sharp object it was, and that I'd have to see the actual the photo of the autopsy report to kind of tell you, but it does say that there was injury to the liver. So I'm thinking it's very high up on the right abdomen. I honestly, I was on Rabbit's live earlier today, but I was literally just kind of following along with whatever she was scrolling with. So it was really just kind of hard to like really take it in. So this will be like the very first time that I'm really taking a look at this, you guys. Left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space. So basically the intercostal space, right? They're talking about like how we have ribs. The intercostal space is basically everything that's in between. So those spaces in between each rib is what we call the intercostal space, right? So basically once the sharp object entered the left chest, it penetrated and it went through the intercostal space. So that's basically what happened. The bilateral dismemberment of the upper and lower extremities are just saying that, her arms and her legs were removed. And I think if I'm not mistaken, the report basically states that the arms and the legs were removed, and later on those extremities were then later broken down into smaller pieces. The soft spot under your rib cage on the right is where the liver is, I believe. That is correct. That is correct. You guys, yes, Jazzy, thank you for that. This is a trigger warning because this is probably going to get a little bit graphic, meaning that YouTube probably is going to strike this video down. So hope and pray, keep your fingers crossed that this video doesn't get struck down. So per the medical examiner's investigator's report, this 15-year-old female, Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez, was found dismembered in a state of decomposition inside of a car trunk on September 8th, which was the day after her 15th birthday. Death was pronounced at the scene. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive post-mortem changes, basically saying that her body was so decomposed it was very hard to conduct this examination. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. So there may be the assumption that they may have used something like a knife in this heinous attack, right? The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver. There you go. The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the left intercostal spaces. And that's really crazy because I'm assuming that in the intercostal space, it probably, now if you think about it, the heart is on the left side, right? For any of you guys that don't know, your heart is on the left side. I do appreciate that, Crafty Kid. This is a under copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. This is all for fair use and education, you guys. So let's get into it. On the left side of the body, this is where your heart's at, right? And we have this part called the apex of the heart, which you can find on the 5th intercostal space. So if you guys can like fill your ribs here, right? If you count down, you'll feel the rib, and then right below that would be what we consider the intercostal space, right? And once you get to like the fifth intercostal space, which is like at the mid clavicular line, which is your clavicle, right? Let me see. Can the liver be penetrated without damaging the hepatic artery? Yeah, absolutely. All right. The liver is such a huge organ. And we'll take a look at the injury itself, because I think it's on the right side, but I have to see like where exactly the injury took place for us to determine that. Let's see. No, the liver is huge, right? So like my liver is probably like this huge. It's just sitting in my belly. Let's see. Where do we leave off? Where do we leave off? Okay. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive postmortem changes. There are two penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound of the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the intercostal spaces with disruption of the adjacent ribs, cortical surfaces. So basically saying that it went through the intercostal space and struck one of the ribs, and there was damage to that. The left lung appears intact. So it may have been superficial enough not to go through the lungs, basically meaning intact, that it was not touched. The bilateral upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment, basically saying it was just through and through. I dismembered through and through. Multiple other skin and soft tissue defects are present without the apparent associated internal injuries. The etiology of these defects is not clearly apparent due to the severe post-mortem changes. Post-mortem toxicology performed on the liver shows the presence of a low-level ethanol, which may be due to post-mortem changes or ingestion, and does not appear to be contributory to the cause of death. Given the history and circumstances as currently known by me in the setting of the findings by my examination, ancillary studies, and in the absence of other definitive causes of death, the cause of death is multiple penetrating injury. So now we absolutely 100% have the cause of death, right? This is that one question that everybody has been wanting to know since day one. What was the cause of death? There were talks because the medical examiner had findings, right? Or there was a discussion about how back and forth the medical examiner's office was with the LAPD. TMZ had put out so many hit pieces regarding how how the ME and LAPD were never on the same page. They were always talking about how LAPD and the DA's office were never on the same page. And I feel like everything that has come out, what does an injury to the intercostal space do? Well, it depends on like where, right? Because there are multiple intercostal spaces. So depending on where on the where which rib, could determine like where in the body that it strikes, right? So because the rib or the intercostal space doesn't contain a bone, that's basically saying that that can just kind of penetrate through and hit another organ. So if it was deep enough, it could have struck the heart. It could have struck the lungs, but these reports are saying that there were no injuries to the heart or to the lungs. But it does say that there was indeed some sort of traumatic injury to the ribs. The manner of death is classified as a homicide. And I'm so glad that we finally have this so we can lay the rumors to rest that she OD'd. She was left, I don't. Well, we don't know. We don't know if she OD'd, but we'll take a look at the toxicology reports and we'll kind of talk about that too. I definitely am so over TMZ, right? Okay, so two unique patient identifiers, and it's funny that they use two unique patient identifiers because in the hospital nursing, we always utilize two unique patient identifiers when we're dealing with the patient, right? Same as decedent name, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and then her case number. Phenotype, sex, female. Type of examination is full. Okay, so this is basically just the body sections that they did examine. This is just all the body, all the different organs and whatnot. Sorry, let me make sure that I keep up with the chat. How you guys doing? You guys good so far? Type 1 in the chat if you guys are good. Y'all are doing all right. We can continue. Da, 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 da. All right, cool. We're good. Y'all are good. Y'all are good. Yeah, this is really like Jigsaw, right? Okay, so it says here prior post-mortem procedures, radiology reviewed. So on her remains, they performed a CT scan. CT scan reviewed and is consistent with autopsy examination, organ tissue donation. So her body was not in a state where she could donate anything, right? Left in the front trunk for months. There were no viable organs that she could have donated at the time. A 3D printed hacksaw. But it could be any hacksaw blade. Most of them come painted and rubbed chip flake when using to cut things. I want to say I saw something like that in Trapmore Ross's thumbnail. Did that come from Trapmore Ross? He may not be the only one, but I think I saw a thumbnail that he put up. So shout out to Trapmore Ross. That's crazy if that's the case. Mortuary preparation. So she did not go to the mortuary. Appropriately developed, race Hispanic, phenotype female. You guys, she weighed 71 pounds, right? And imagine how much of that was just liquid. So if they removed the liquid, she was probably even lighter. BMI, she had a very low BMI, meaning she was not a heavy set woman, right? Heavy set little girl, however you want to call it. Her skin, other findings, evidence of traumatic injury. Okay, no scars. Tattoos were present on her finger on the right, second medial. So I'm assuming it was on the index finger, right? And the reason why is because it's the second finger to the medial aspect. Medial aspect just basically means the inner portion or the inner side. Inside would be medial, outside would be lateral. So this would be the thumb would be the first finger, and the second would be medial. So that would be the index finger. And it's described as the shush tattoo. Long hair, facial hair none. Cannot assess due to severe postmortem changes. So her eye color they couldn't determine because she was just so far decomposed. Her sclerae, which is the white portion of her eye, the conjunctival petechiae, they couldn't assess that too far. Okay, facial petechiae cannot assess due to severe postmortem changes. This is really crazy just to read this report, and I don't take this as very weird and odd, but as a medical professional, these are the kind of things that we see all the time. And I'm very curious to see what those photos look like. I understand out of respect for the teenage girl, but these are just some of the things that I've seen before in the past. So I'm just very curious to see it from the point of view of the detectives who are investigating this. No issues with her ears or her nose, her oral cavity, good dentition. So basically saying that she had good teeth. None were fallen out. And normally if there were any missing teeth, it would show right here, dentition description, orthodontic hardware present and in place on the upper and lower teeth. So I don't know if this means that she may have had any kind of implants. But when I read orthodontic hardware, I'm thinking she either had retainers or braces in. Magdizzle, you want to see too, little sicko? It's all way worse than I thought it would be. Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but we've been saying this from day one that when we see the evidence, that the evidence is going to blow our mind, right? And I feel like everybody just had their mind blown today. I'm under the impression that she may have had braces before in the past and she was wearing retainers. I don't know, but it's really hard to determine. Purple celestial butterfly, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. How could one person carry out all of this? I mean, if this person was in a very upset rage, and you think about it, right? The thing that was at risk was his $1 million lucrative career, right? Because we knew this little firecracker, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, did not hold back. She never held back with anything that she wanted to say. And we saw that on 2 occasions, you guys. The first occasion was in the delete everything video, right? Um, some people may think that she may have slipped when she said "graping kids." I don't think that was a slip. I feel like that was a little sign of help, or a sign of "don't fuck with me because I will expose you," right? And I think because she saw the little the JE comment, she was just like, "Fuck it," right? Somebody's gonna say it. I'm gonna say it too. Let's see. One person cutting away. I just don't see it unless he was really, really motivated. You know, I understand how it's very hard to imagine, but how many times have you seen stories where, um, a tiny little girl murdered her husband or her boyfriend, uh, by stabbing them, or mutilating their body? There's been many, many. I can't name any right off the top, but I'm sure somebody in the chat can definitely bring up a case where a tiny little woman was able to either murder her husband, or hack him into pieces, and did it by themselves. Alexa, it's your bedtime. Well, have a good night. Thank you for hanging out. We do appreciate you hanging out with us. Dominic said, I think the way it went down is he was standing behind her when he did it the first time. Then he had his hand over her mouth to keep her from screaming. That, I mean, I could definitely see that, right? You have your hand over the person, you have a sharp object, and you are boom right there to the right abdomen, and another time uh, on the left side. It's definitely possible. It's hard to imagine somebody taking a knife and either penetrating them like this. But who knows? I think that's gonna be something really, really, really interesting to see play out. It's controversial, right? She knew that's a great point, Rufio. Graping kids, plural. It's controversial of graping kids. She knew there were multiple, right? And if you guys were on the Reddit, you guys seen that there was one that came out and had a little statement come out. I've heard of it. I've heard of that and buried him. Imagine that, right? They have the energy to dig up a little grave, to dismember them and bury them. That's insane. Okay, so let's continue. So orthodontic hardware, it's hard to interpret what that exactly means, but my interpretation is either braces or retainers. No injuries to the neck, right? So there was no asphyxiation, meaning no choking. There were no additional injuries to her chest. Abdomen was normal. Back was unremarkable. It's just another word for saying it looked good, right? External genitalia was female. Post-mortem changes, liver mortis, indiscernible. Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary here. Skin color change, description is dark brown. And the reason why they say dark brown is because of the level of decomposition. And I'm sure when they're writing their report, they basically have to document the objective data that they find, meaning what they observe at the moment, right? So she had very dark brown skin. Her skin was very dry. There was definitely insect activity, multiple insects larvae present, and definitely a foul odor. Can you imagine what that smells like? Has anybody ever smelled that before? Because oh my God, Lorena Bobbitt. I remember there was a little movie on that, right? She's the one that tied it on the balloon. Was that her? That was her, right? And Joey Buttafuoco. Am I getting that right? This happened way, way long time ago. I don't know if this was in the 80s or the early 90s. That was Lorena Bobbitt. I remember that movie long, long time ago. I've only smelled wild game. Ooh, I can imagine. See, in nursing, we don't really, get that smell of death, right? But every time I imagine a decomposing body, I'm always reminded of what us nurses always remember, right? And if any of you guys are nurses in the chat, There's this one infection that a patient always has that you can identify from a mile away. Any nurses in the chat know what I'm talking about? A decomposing body is a god awful smell that you'll never forget for the rest of your life, right? In nursing, there's this infection that some people get, and sometimes. Okay, so Ava Black said, I've been in CNA for 15 years and never smelt it, but the body wasn't there long before they get picked up. No, yeah, normally in the hospital, they're there for a maximum of like, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours before somebody from the morgue picks them up. The mortuary comes and picks them up. But there's an infection called Clostridium difficile, which is called C. diff, and basically it affects the digestive tract. And normally it happens when a person has an infection and they take some sort of antibiotic. And there's a specific antibiotic called vancomycin. And sometimes when patients are placed on this medication, vancomycin, what it does is it kind of kills all the good and the bad bacteria. And what it does is it allows for this bacteria in your body called Clostridium difficile to, yep, C. diff, right? See, Storm knows exactly what I'm talking about. When a patient has C. diff, Alexa said you've had IV vancomycin. Well, did you end up having any kind of super infection after that? But C. diff, if you've ever been in a hospital, this infection called C. diff is very distinct because this when I say it's their fecal matter, right? So when a patient poops and they sorry you guys, told you guys this is gonna get a little graphic, right? Um, but anytime a patient poops and they have C. diff, this stench is so distinct that you can smell this literally from outside of the hospital, right? And this is a smell that you will never forget. As a clinical instructor, I take students to the hospital and I train them on the floor and whatnot. And it's always a very educational day when your students get to experience C. diff for the first time, right? It's kind of like they're welcoming into nursinghood when they get a whiff of that C. diff. So I can only imagine what a detective goes through, every time that they find a corpse or a decomposed body, because that smell, they call it the smell of death, right? And they always say that if you smell that, you'll never forget what it smells like. Ooh, parvo. Parvo is the same thing. Wow. Okay, parvo has that unmistakable smell. That is crazy. Let me see. What did it just say? I dressed my grandmother and my mother. They would not let us dress my mom. We didn't do a wellness check for 3 days. The mortuary didn't want us to touch her. My other grandmother, we tied her chin up. Yeah. Sometimes that actually happens. Jay Brady's in the house. Welcome back. Yeah, we're gonna be here every day. Looks like it, right? Yeah. Sometimes when somebody loses their life, they lose all their muscle uh elasticity or whatever, so they're not able to kind of hold their muscles in, and sometimes their jaws kind of drop open. So a lot of the times after, when we provide post-mortem care to patients, sometimes what we'll do is we'll take like a pillowcase and we'll roll it up lengthwise, and we'll have to tie it under their chin and kind of tie it on top here, just so that we can keep their jaw closed, right? Yeah, that is crazy. If you guys are ever in the hospital and you guys smell a very, very distinct pungent smell, worse than rotten eggs, just know that's probably C. diff. So Jay Brady said, I ain't gonna lie, Joe, there's a lot of evidence coming out, but how can we say he physically did it though? Jay Brady, there right now, there is no way, right? And I think it's not for us to determine that. We have to put the trust in the hands of law enforcement and the DA to prove it. But they've said that they have a lot of forensic evidence, a lot of digital evidence that are going to prove that indeed he did it, right? All right, so the evidence of the traumatic injury. The order in which the injuries are described is for descriptive purposes only and is not intended to imply the sequence of injuries. All medical examiner diagrams are not intended to be facsimiles, nor are they drawn to scale. All right, so skin defect, the three-quarter inch entrance involving the right abdomen, 21 inches below the top of the head. Top of the head, 21 inches below, right? So we're looking at what side? The right abdomen. So a little less than 2 feet below the top of the head and 1 inch right of the midline. So the midline, again, I told you guys, is if you're looking at your clavicular or your clavicle, it's literally right in the middle. So basically 1 inch over to the midline and 6 inches left of the midline. Hold on. I'm reading the wrong one. 1 inch right of the midline is a 3/4 inch length penetrating wound. So we're talking about the length of this wound, right? So it's literally like 3/4 of an inch long, and it's let's see, penetrating wound with smooth edges. So basically saying like it was like a clean cut, right? No serrated edges, uh, as if like a doctor had like a scalpel or something like that. Very clean cut. The wound is oriented in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock direction. So basically saying it's flat, right? If you're looking at a clock and you identify the 3 and the 9, that's from one end to the other, right? The path, the wound track sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue to the right abdomen and the liver, 1.5 inches to, I don't know what ovoid defect is, so I'll have to look that up. The wound track has an approximate depth of 1.5 inches deep. Wow. And it's basically saying it went in from the front to the back. If the person is standing, they say front to the back, right? But if she's lying down, it's top to bottom. Let's see. Jazzy, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Celeste was a brave girl and had a strong spirit. Strategic Eyes said it looked like she fought like hell. R.I.P. Celeste, very loved and always missed. Isn't it crazy how, I feel like after this, I feel like we know this little girl, right? But we've never met her a day in our lives, but we all have this connection to her and we're all on her side seeking justice for her. So, Jazzy, thank you so much for your super chat. We do appreciate your support, and you're one of our mods, so we appreciate that. The entrance, so we'll talk about the other side, involving the left lateral lower chest, 15 inches below the top of the head. Crawford, Lapria, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Welcome to the inner circle. I appreciate you. Thank you. So involving the left lateral chest, 15 inches below the top of the head and 6 inches left of the midline. So again, the midline is right over here. And if we're talking about 6 inches to the left, we're going to be talking about right here, right? So 15 inches below the top of the head. And then we'll see the drawings of it. The wound track sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue of the lateral left lower chest, left intercostal space. And I wish they would have told us which intercostal space it was, so then that way we can easily identify where, right? The wound track has a depth of at least 2 inches, you guys. That is crazy. That is such that's deep. I don't even know if I have a ruler here to show you guys. Let me see. I might have measuring tape. Okay. So I forget what you call this. What is this called? This is a caliper, right? And so this right here is 2 inches. I don't know if that can show you. I know it might be a little bit odd when you see this. So I got to do this like people are advertising makeup. But this is how deep it is, right? How deep? Oh, there you go. How deep that second wound went into her left body. The first one was 1.5 inches on the right side, and it was this deep. And you want to look right here, not on this area, right here. So that's how deep the wounds went. So when he penetrated her skin, he literally put whatever object in almost all the way, right? And if he was using one of those knives that he had, the ones that he loved advertising so much, that knife probably went all the way in. Let's see. The wound track has a depth of at least 2 inches. Direction went left to right. And the adjacent ribs showed disruption of the cortical. So, you know what? Just based on the way that they are describing this, it could be very, very possible that he may have had his arm around one of her, around her neck, had the knife in front, as if he was doing it from behind, snuck up on her, and did one to the chest, right to the right upper abdomen, and then went boom right over here to the left side. And that's how he was doing it, right? I'm not a CSI, right? But this is just what I'm thinking. This is crazy, you guys. Multiple skin defects are also present over the torso, with many perforating skin soft tissue without identifiable soft tissue hemorrhage. Okay, let me see. I'm just trying to see. They range from 5/6 of an inch. Multiple superficial linear abrasions. So basically saying that she had very many scrapes, and she had scrapes on the right dorsal hand, so on the back of the hand, right? Damn, that's crazy. The upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment with relatively flat cut surfaces through the soft tissue and bone. No discernible hemorrhage is identified at the sites. Multiple fragments of blue plastic material are found embedded in the cut surfaces. Representative fragments are collected. I read something about the blue plastic. That part was crazy. The right upper extremity is dismembered 9 inches. Okay, so let's kind of go to this really quick, right? Because this will kind of paint a picture as to where we have the dismemberment, right? I might have to, let me just bring this over here so I can read this. Multiple fragments of blue plastic materials are found embedded in the cut surfaces. Representative, representative fragments are collected by a medical examiner criminalist and submitted to the evidence department on September 8th. The right upper extremity is dismembered 9 inches from the top of the shoulder. So from right here, it's, let's see. So this part right here, right? So it was dismembered basically 9 inches from the top of the shoulder. It could be a little bit lower, but this is just approximate right here. So this is where the first cut took place. And then it says the left upper extremity is dismembered 6 inches from the top of the shoulder. So if you go over here, right, this is the left side, or the left shoulder, 6 inches from the top of this shoulder right over here. The left, fourth, and fifth fingers are amputated. Let me see. Yeah, so right here, she's missing her ring finger and her pinky. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there is a belief that that she had a tattoo on this finger, and this tattoo said David. Let me see if I can pull up a photo of this really quick, just so you guys can see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I've got to look on Discord. Or if any of you guys have that photo of Celeste and the Red David tattoo, please email it to me at flojoetv, FLOJOETV @gmail.com. Let me see. No matches. Okay. Let me see. Celeste Red David tattoo. Let me see. No, I can't find it right now, but I'm sure I'll definitely find it. Her left hand had the tat on it. Was it the left hand or the right hand? I want to say it was the right hand that had the tattoo. But I could be wrong. So it said the left, fourth, and fifth fingers are amputated. So, and I want to say her right hand was the one, the right second medial finger, right? So that would be this finger right here. Did you see the video of him wrapping a prop finger? People are saying it looks way too real. Yeah, I think that finger, it was very questionable when it came out a couple months ago. But if I'm not mistaken, it comes from Jujutsu Kaisen anime, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really keep up with anime, but I know this is definitely something that was brought up a long time ago. Her wedding ring on, yeah, it's the photo that had that little engagement ring, right? Oh yeah, definitely. I'll put my let me just go ahead and put my email in the chat for you guys. I know it's super late, so some of the mods may not be here right now, but whatever you guys need in the chat, let me know and I'll put it in there for you guys. So Ronan said, okay, so he said Jujutsu Kaisen is the finger. There you go. So I really, okay, Jazzy's here. Jazzy's still here. Thank you so much, Jazzy. Jazzy said, if you love the channel and Flojo's hard work, please consider supporting the channel by liking the video. It is free. Also consider donating to Flojo TV on Cash App and or Venmo. Either or, you guys. You guys don't really have to. You being here is more than enough support. So I appreciate all of you guys that are here. But just in case this video gets demonetized, you know, your support definitely matters, you guys. That would definitely help out on some things, like when I go to court, you know, I pay for parking and stuff like that, gas, because California gas is just expensive. Draco said, I hope David looks like this soon. Oh, you think he's going to shave his head? Ooh. That would be very interesting to see. All right, let's see. The right upper extremity is dismembered. Now, okay, we read that. The right lower extremity is dismembered in two places. One side is 12 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 10 inches from the bottom of the heel. Right here, you guys. So 12 inches from the top of the leg, right? So roughly around like right here, 12 inches down. This is where one of the cuts took place. And then 10 inches from the heel. This would be the heel, 10 inches up. So this is where, so her leg was dismembered into two pieces, right? And so when they left her body the way it was literally just this portion right over here. That's crazy. Trace evidence embedded blue plastic. So right here, all these areas right here, on the areas that had cut marks, it says here that there was trace evidence of embedded blue plastic. This stuff is crazy. And then the left leg had a cut. Let me see. The left lower extremity is dismembered in two places. One site is 9 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 15 inches from the bottom of the heel. So this is where you guys are going to see the cut right here. 9 inches and 15 inches. Obviously, this is not accurate description. So 9 inches from the top would have been more so like right here. 15 inches from the heel would have been a little bit more up here. Body cavities, organs in normal anatomical position, basically just saying that all of her organs were in the proper position upon the assessment. Let me just go back over here. Her heart weighed 100 grams, which was usual. Shape of her heart was normal. This is basically just talking about her pericardium, the sac around the heart. Pericardial fluid is the heart fluids. Epicardial surface was smooth. Coronary. This is just detailing the very, very specific anatomical structures of the heart. So nothing very particular or important that we need to kind of dive into. Stenosis means narrowing. So there was no narrowing of any of her arteries, which is good, right? Because she's young, considered healthy. Sorry, let me just continue this. Her heart valves, there were no defects. Chordae tendinae was thin. Myocardium, which is her heart muscle, usual consistency. Endocardium which is the inner muscle, smooth thickness, not including trabeculation. Okay, so the valves in her heart were good. Pulmonary artery normal as any aorta. Very, very detailed. So the respiratory system, her epiglottis. So this is basically her airway, right? Epiglottis, larynx, and trachea, absent of any lesions. So she was not choked at all, right? At least upon the examination of her body, there were no signs that were noted. Unobstructed, so her trachea was not crushed. Jay Brady, I heard she was stacked on meth and liquor. So we'll talk about that in a bit, right? Because there's a important thing that people need to understand when they talk about the liquor or the ethanol that was found in her blood. Lung weight normal, digestive system. So her system, her esophageal mucosa. So that's her throat intact. Stomach contents. This is crazy. So it does say that she had pill fragments is absent. So there were no pills in her body at the time. And it looked like she was on an empty stomach. So this girl had not eaten, which is really crazy. That is so sad that they had absolutely no food in her body. Now, it could have just meant that maybe she hadn't eaten in just, an extended period of time. Because normally for your stomach to just fully digest, it could take anywhere between 24 to 36 hours for that stomach to fully empty out. So fecalith present in the lumen, no perforations identified. Large intestine, small intestine without significance. So the small intestine, large intestine, which connect, nothing significant in the findings. Liver weight was 225 grams. So imagine her heart weighed 100 grams. Her liver is obviously bigger. It's almost two and a quarter times size of the heart, right? So 225. Her liver is soft, gallbladder, pancreas, urinary tract, no issues with her kidneys. Her bladder absent of mucosal lesions, so no issues there. Uterus was present and not enlarged, so obviously no signs of pregnancy. Ovaries and fallopian tubes were appropriate for her age, nothing there. Vagina without lesions. I just realized that just saying all these words is definitely going to get to the video monetize, you guys. So hang in there, y'all. Breast tissue without lesions. Other female reproductive tract findings, severe post-mortem changes noted. Basically just saying that, what happened? I saw Snickers. Did somebody get blocked? What happened? No? Okay, good. All right. Severe postmortem changes. So for the female reproductive tract, just basically saying that it experienced postmortem changes, which is normal because her body was decomposed, right? Adrenal parenchyma, thyroid, these are just endocrine system. Lymphoreticular, so her spleen was still there. It weighed 50 grams. Lymph nodes, thymus. Okay, musculoskeletal system. So this was her skeleton, her bones, right? Her framework was normal. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check. These updates. Crafty Kid, thank you so much. I just received your email. I appreciate you. I just received a Crafty Kid. Thank you. So Storm, thank you so much. Part 1, an ovoid defect in a medical examiner's report, particularly within the intercostal space. The space between the rib refers to an egg-shaped oval hole, opening or loss of tissue. And that could be consistent with like a knife wound, right? I know normally like when surgeons kind of cut into the skin, a lot of times they cut in like an oval shape. And the reason why they do that is because when they need to suture the skin back together, they need to have it in a straight line. So they kind of have it curved. So then that way, um, when they suture it, it can create this nice line as opposed to overlapping. Thank you so much for sharing that, Storm. I appreciate that. Um, okay, ribs, see evidence of traumatic injury. Obviously, we know that there was trauma to the ribs due to the sharp object. No bones in her back were broken or in her spine, so vertebral bodies, no fractures. Scalp predominantly skeletonized, so basically saying that the skin on her skeleton had basically it melted away, right? Calvarium, normal thickness, brain weight 600 grams, the dura normal with subdural fluid collection. Okay. Just talking about the brain, nothing too crazy. Photos taken prior and during the examination. Trauma, no. Let's see. Let me go see if there's anything here that we can talk about. Right, so let's kind of just switch it up, right? So we'll just kind of go through this as well. So this is basically a little slide deck that we had put together for this. So she was ID'd. Cause of death. Her cause of death has come out, and it's multiple penetrating injuries with sharp objects, and the manner of her death is a homicide. The distinctive marks that she had on her body was the tattoo on her right index finger. If you look at the street on Google Maps, you see a black figure. Are you talking about where her body was discovered, Draco? You're talking about like where the Tesla was picked up? Yeah, she was definitely 71 pounds. Sherilyn, how's it going? How's it going, Sherilyn? All right, so here, let's take a look at this timeline right over here, right? Because we do have a timeline here, and this basically kind of gives you a timeline from, this is basically the Tesla and her body inside the Tesla. So we know that on 8/26, people who were passing by reported an abandoned black Tesla on the street to the Department of Transportation. Fast forwarding to September 3rd, the LA Department of Transportation employee cites the vehicle. And then on 9/5, September 5th, 2025, the vehicle was impounded and towed to a Hollywood tow yard. September 8th, the detective corps investigates the foul odor of a body discovered in the frunk. And that's when a death was announced or pronounced. And that's when their investigation started. On 9/8, criminalists processed the scene and collected the evidence. And then on 9/10, the autopsy examination commences. So they finished their autopsy exam within 2 days, you guys. And then for context, this is basically how her body was discovered in this the front trunk of this Tesla. So basically, this is basically saying that there was a nested encasement. So basically saying how the decomposition kind of either sped up or how it was created. And if you think about it, there were literally 4 different layers, right? So number one, the most outer layer would be this Tesla that she had. So there was a black Tesla Model X with Texas plates. She was found in the front trunk. Layer 2, which is the primary encasement, which was the black body bag. And there were details about it, which had a double zipper, 3 side handles, top and bottom handles, right? Layer number 3, which is the secondary encasement. And in the autopsy report, we learned that she was also wrapped in a black trash bag. Now, not sure if this is where the reports indicated that She was placed in a cadaver bag, and then the second bag was a trash bag, but it also just mentioned that there were trash bags noted in the front trunk. They were tied closed and contained the dismembered limbs. So her upper and lower extremities that were subsequently cut down into smaller pieces were also located in these bags. And then you had the decedent herself, which was lying in a prone position. So this is not a prone position right over here. This is what you call a supine position, meaning you're lying on your back. A prone position basically means you are lying on your stomach face down. So an enclosed multi-layered encasement generated a localized microenvironment resulting in marked post-mortem changes. So because she was in, her body was in so many encasements, the trash bag, the cadaver bag, the frunk, this really just kind of created an environment where her body was just going to liquefy in the whole process. The trauma diagnostics matrix, so differentiating between perimortem fatal actions from postmortem alterations. So this is basically telling you like what was fatal and versus what were some of the changes, right? So the fatal penetrating trauma, right? We know that she was stabbed twice. She was stabbed in the torso, which were the abdomen and the chest. There were smooth edges indicating a very sharp object, sharp force. There was penetration of the liver, the intercostal space, and the cortical bone. And then trace contamination, none noted in the wound tracks. The alterations in post-mortem, so after death, right? So after death, she was dismembered. We know that for sure. They cut off her bilateral extremities. So bilateral extremities just means both sides, right? So left and right arm, left and right leg. Draco, I do know that the public can go, but there are no cameras allowed in the courtroom. Her missing flyer said 125, but she looked more like 110. No, she just looked very, very small, just all together, right? Hold on 1 second. You guys give me 1 second. Let me just use the restroom really quick. I will be right back. Sorry, you guys. 1 second. All right, you guys, we are back. All right, so for the wounds, there were flat cut surfaces through soft tissue bone, no associated internal injuries or discernible hemorrhage, meaning that there no extreme bleeding was noted. And then there was embedded blue plastic fragments at the cut sites. So they're basically saying that the cut sites are very consistent with the date of May 5th, right? So when she was presumably dismembered. This right here is just basically an anatomical map that basically shows you where those wounds subsequently took place, right? Wound number 1, 21 inches below the top of the head, 1 inch right of the midline. So again, we mentioned earlier that this would be the clavicle area, and 1 inch to the right. And if you go all the way down, approximately 21 inches from the head, this is where you can see the wound that she experienced. Wound number 2, sorry, you guys having like heartburn. Wound number 2, 15 inches below the top of the head, 6 inches left of the midline. So I would say that this wound is a little bit further out, right over here, right? Because midline would be practically almost where the nipple would be, right? So you want to go left, more so to the left. The dimensions are 9/16 of an inch in length and a little bit greater than 2 inches deep. And this wound went from left to right. And this one is crazy because this wound number 1 went front to back. So basically went into her. This one was basically ripped open from left to right. So that's different. That's definitely different for sure. We showed this. These are the areas where her body was dismembered, right? So she was cut here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. There you go. She was cut right over here. She was cut right here in this leg area, and then her lower extremities were cut into 2 pieces as well. Her arms and her legs. I don't understand why. Disgusting. I can't fathom like why somebody would do this. Her right leg was cut 12 inches from the top and then 10 inches from the heel. Full thickness dismemberment with relatively flat cut surfaces through soft tissue and bone. Leah Marie, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Don't they have the picture that the coroner has, like the outline of the body where it shows where the puncture wounds are, the ones they show on TV? It should be there. They let the autopsy out. Yeah, they have it, and we'll show it in a bit. But this was just something that I put together. So what you're talking about is this one right over here, right? So we have it. But obviously there's a note that basically says that these are just drawings. They're not 100% accurate. So what does it say? This basically just gives you the details right over here. And then this second portion right here, this second photo right here is basically the same thing. It basically just shows like where the dismemberment took place. Kelly says, why would anyone go through all of this, then leave the body in their own trunk on the street? I mean, where else would he store her body? Right? There were so many people inside that house. There's absolutely no way that he could have kept that body in the house without it smelling, right? You guys remember that 4th of July party where they were in the bathroom and they just kept talking about like how the bathroom smells like shit because he took a shit in there 2 hours ago. I'm willing to bet that Tesla that David drove was literally parked outside in front of the house, right? And if you take a look at the house inside that bathroom, you guys remember this video? Let me see if I can pull this video up. Just to kind of put things into perspective. Oh, is this video removed? Oh, I can't even find the video. Where's the Sakura 4th of July video? And there are so many videos of okay, here it is right here. Hold on. Let me just turn this off. All right, so you guys can see here that they are sitting in the bathroom. But let me make sure that I pull this up really quick. 1368. Let me just find photos. Damn, this house is really nice. The house that David lived in. And it's back up for lease. And it's $23,000 a month, you guys. Who's paying $23,000 a month? I'm just looking for some photos to share with you guys, just to kind of put things into perspective for you guys. Imagine eating tacos in the bathroom where people take shits. This is crazy. Were they using drugs? They probably were. They most likely were. I'm just trying to find some photos really quick. Found one, but let me find another one. All right. So here they are in this bathroom, right? You can see this bathroom right over here. If you guys take a look at this photo right over here, right, you guys can see that they are clearly sitting right here in front of the shower right here. And you can see that there's this double window right over here. And if you guys have seen the house, let me see if they have photos of the house from the outside. This one might not be the best one. Hold on. Let me see. I am willing to bet that one of these windows is right over here in the middle. You can't see this. Let me see if we click here. That window is probably like right over here, unless this is a different bathroom. Unless it could be one of these windows. But if you think about it, right, his car was normally parked outside in front of the house. So it's very possible whatever smell that they were talking about in this video could have been the smell of Celeste in their car. So I don't know. I don't know. Just wanted to put that out there because this is literally where they're sitting, you guys. Right here. Naomi, you've never seen photos of the house? Let me show you guys. This is a very beautiful house. Obviously, it's been redecorated and put back up for lease. But this was no small house, you guys. This is $4 million house. That video was filmed July 4th weekend of 2025. This is definitely a nice house. 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, $23,000 a month. And the house is about $4 million. So here's a photo of the property. And if you guys were with me the day that the arraignment took place, we actually went out to visit the property. We went to go see all 3 of the properties. So you guys can go check out those videos in the lives. Why are they hanging around in the bathroom? That's a great idea. But these weirdos just love hanging out in this bathroom. And you know what? Ever since everything has come out, these 3 people here have been super silent. Well, except for this one right here on the right, right? She put out a post that basically said, this whole thing is sick, right? Let's watch this again. This video really pisses me off.
Did you guys know that me and David are actually related?
My second cousin.
Yeah.
Me and Asia go to like the same family functions, like we go on road trips, like she's in the backseat type. Low key, I'll be there.
Nasty Jazz.
So I'm driving. You're driving? You listened to entire time. I did. I'm not lying.
Debbie, you're so right.
Oh, look, there's no driving there.
Are you done?
Yeah.
He was a fairy. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. We finished.
I have to take one piss before we leave. Is that David? No. Who's that? Let me know when I call her over. What was that reaction?
No.
Let me go over. Oh, dude, so tragic.
I want you to go under like an alias and make a whole different like.
It's very possible.
I'll be a rapper. Freaking.
Your rapper name? Big D. Big D's good. That's a good Big D.
Do you like it or not?
Yeah, let me just get an order of poop tacos, you guys. Let me just get an order of poop tacos. Nasty. You nasty.
Why is Keanu Reeves singing? Keanu, I guess. I can't. Well, I can try. You know, oil farming low key. Am I? Got a lot of water.
That's David with alcohol at the age of 20. So obviously he's drinking, right? Not a surprise because it did mention that in Celeste Toxicology report there was ethanol, noted in her report.
A lot of water. So much water. There's water. We fill it up with water. Fill it up with water.
Kalohi, you never noticed that they were in the bathroom? Of course. Look at this. They got the shower right here. And I think right here is where the toilet's at. Right behind Sakura.
Those are mine. Those are mine. No, it's Celeste. You know what the flavors are? That's water, guys. It's water. What is this? You got drugs? Oh, wait, let me empty out my pills here. You put this in the bag too? Unless you don't mind. I have a lot of pills. You put.
Yeah, these people live a very clean and hygienic lifestyle. Look at all the stuff they have on the floor. They got their little baby shark slippers in the back. I don't know. Somebody's drawers are right here in the back too. These people are disgusting.
Fuck you, bro. I'm looking at your packing, bro. Go fuck yourself. I don't even get paid, guys. I'm not even getting paid for this bullshit, bro. Fuck this, bro. Fuck all y'all, dead ass.
Oh. No, do we make up? Yeah.
ABC. Oh, yeah, in exposure.
Okay, so here, listen to this, guys. He specifically had to put it out here, right, to make sure everybody was aware. And I want you guys to pay attention to Neo's reaction to this. So listen to what he's about to tell everybody, right? Nobody asked him, but he just decided to take it upon himself to put it out here and make sure everybody knows that he's very sorry that his house or his bathroom might smell.
Oh. No, do we make up? Yeah.
ABC. Oh, yeah, in exposure.
I apologize for how my bathroom smells. I just took a shit in there 2 hours ago.
Oh, yeah, in exposure.
I don't care, I just took a shit in there.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so look at Neo's weird response to what David says.
I don't care, I just took a yeah.
ABC. Oh, yeah, in exposure.
I don't care, I just took a shit in there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That look that Neo gives David it's crazy. It's like I can't help but wonder if Neo actually knew and was like, bruh, you are burning us. No, actually the camera, let's see if we can find a photo of the house. What we were looking at earlier. I would say that the camera, oh, here we go. This is a better picture right here. So this is basically the other side of that bathroom. And they're probably somewhere right here. So the phone that they're streaming on is probably like on the bathtub. But here's that window, right? You guys can see the window reflection right over here. So you can see that they're literally like right here. But yeah, look at this face, right? But so this is definitely where they were seated. And I don't know. I mean, this picture makes the bathroom look super huge, but who knows how big this bathroom is? I mean, it's definitely big. This bathroom looks bigger than my bedroom for sure, right? But yeah, I don't know. So it's just if the car is downstairs and parked right in front of the house, whether it's across the street, right? Because we know that the car was parked there regardless, right? There's a very high possibility that the stench of her body, right, was floating up into that window and into that bathroom, right? that window right there is no more than 15 feet above the ground. From the time that I went to go visit the outside of that house, that window is no more than 15 feet above the ground. So that is crazy. Let's.
You're still not dressed, Guapo says. Oh, guys, we're about to leave soon.
Everybody is dressed.
We're all chilling, bro. We gotta go.
There's no light.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Asia slam with that belly button ring. Hey!
One point away.
Are you just looking at it?
So if I'm not mistaken, this stream. Let me see if there's an actual date. So this one was uploaded on July 4th. I don't know. Let me see, because 4th of July in 2025 was not a weekend for sure. July 4th, 2025 was on a Friday. So, I mean, this very well could have been on the exact day. But they were getting ready to go to a party at the FaZe clan house, if I'm not mistaken.
They did get infected.
Your problem with that?
You're not rocking anything over it?
Belly button watcher?
Probably.
He's a belly button watcher. That's crazy.
We're so glad that you healed up.
You might need to put it on once we get there. Like maybe I should just because I thought
How far is the face?
maybe.
house?
Oh wait, but I think
Not
you just
too
need to
far.
plug it in first.
No, come in. You gotta show your face. You gotta show your face. You gotta show your face. Is this too much? Is that, okay, you saw Glitz, is that too much for a FaZe party? 4th of July like that?
Never too much. Never too much. Stop, never too much. Never too much.
What did they say? What did they say?
They said no.
Okay, thank you guys.
Never too much. I'm about to buy my tickets too. Swamp is on. Once we get there, I'll pop my tickets.
But a bitch ain't one.
Oh, that's any fun. Oh.
That's my dad's favorite song.
For free? David will do a lot for free.
I do a lot for free too.
Why are you grabbing my shoulders when you say that?
I do a lot.
What was it?
Oh. I mean, hey, we should bring that girl up last night.
Absolutely. I think 100% that Celeste was already in the Tesla by the time this video was filmed. And if you're asking me, it would be my only my opinion. I don't believe that Celeste's body was ever placed inside this mansion after she was unalived. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. To me, it's hard to believe, right? This guy was scared. This guy was scared. He had nowhere else to place her, and the only thing that was actually his, 100%, that was in his name was that Tesla. The house was not. It was under the lease was under Josh Marshall, right? So who knows if Josh Marshall was going to show up? I don't know if Rob Morganroth ever lived at the property, but who knows if what would happen if he were to show up, if the homeowner were to ever show up, the property manager were ever to show up. This guy could. How do you explain the stench of death to either of these people? In case, unless any of them know, right? That is a different story, but we don't have any proof of that, right? But I mean, if you think about it, how do you explain the stench of death? I mean, you could just tell people, sorry in advance if the bathroom smells, but I just took a shit in there 2 hours ago, right? That, I mean, you could say that. But how do you explain that to a property owner if they come and do an inspection? Because we know that there were inspections done. One of the last inspections was done on January 19th. Right? How's a car parked in an open parking lot? Bro literally doesn't watch FBI movies. Like, bro didn't even try to cover it up. Yeah. I don't know if he knew how to, right? There was no other place for him to store her body. Just my belief.
Hot, bro. I gotta either shave again or let the goatee grow back out because I'm looking kind of crazy right now, son. I don't like the way I look right now. I look crazy. Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
And that was Celeste Herrera that was just shown in this clip right here. This is supposedly the decoy, the stand-in, the other Celeste, right? She's been very, very quiet. Very, very quiet in this whole thing. And of course, you know, she knows better than to say anything online because she's probably seen the public scrutiny that her bestie Asia has received. You guys know that Reddit post that Asia decided to put out? What were your guys' thoughts on that? How did he be around her with the same name and all? Maybe it was planned.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Look at that sexy boy right there.
Look at that sexy duo right here.
Look at that sexy man right there.
Bro.
Sexy man right there.
I'm David's one and only Asian, bro. No one else, just me and David. I'm the only Asian for him.
Get the Cardi boys on time.
Oh, you switched my.
Oh, we're okay. We're okay.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Anybody want a PS5? You want a PS5 on secure stream? You want a PS5? Anybody want a PS5? You want a PS5 on secure stream?
It's mine.
So all you gotta do is like, follow, subscribe, and sub for 3 months to get 25 subs. You get a PS5.
Guys, let's peep this candle right here. Look at this fucking candle, bro. Look at this fucking. What are we doing, bro? Hold up. Can I flip the screen here? Is there anything leaking? Okay. I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
Look at that. You can see that he still has the Valentine's Day balloons still in this house.
I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
Whoa!
69420 Street. Apartment number 6969.
Are you ready?
Age of Nefarious, how's it going?
I mean.
When we get in the car, just cover the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying she was gold digger.
I wonder whose car they actually drove, right? Did they drive David's Tesla? That would be insane if they drove that car knowing damn well that Celeste was in that frunk. And then how do you explain to your friends, don't open the front trunk? There's no space in there. That is just insane. Unless they took the other one, right? Yeah, that's right, because they did have the red Tesla. But I don't know, that red Tesla was registered to Rob Morgenroth, so we know that Rob Morgenroth was at the property too. That
You good? Bro, yeah, of course.
So that was that. Let's kind of jump back into here because I did want to kind of continue talking about this. Where are we at? The examination procedures, ancillary testing. Let's just kind of go on to this really quick, but let me look this up. Okay, so here is what looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is basically very close to like a 10-panel drug screen, right? And so here they're basically saying for alcohol quantitation confirmation, there's presence of alcohol in the liver, right? But what I want you guys to understand too is that the presence of alcohol after so long is very, very unlikely that they were able to identify that she had alcohol in her blood. And what I mean alcohol, I mean like liquor, right? And sometimes what happens is over time when the body decomposes, the body kind of goes through this thing called autolysis, right? Or autolysis. And that's basically when the body kind of eats away at itself. And so in the decomposition, we know that her body decomposed and turned into a liquefied state. And a lot of the times when that happens, the body can develop this ethanol or this alcohol in the body. So it doesn't necessarily mean that she had alcohol in her body. Exactly. So Ava Hackshaw basically said it. Decomposition creates the ethanol, right? So very simple way to put it. Doesn't necessarily mean that she was found to be drinking, right? Benzodiazepines. It says that it was present. Let me see. Hold on. Let me just put this here. Let me make sure that I get the right. Okay, so the PP stands for presumptive positive, right? So basically a presumptive positive is the initial screening test flagged a substance, which basically means that the substance was detected in the preliminary test, but it's not absolutely confirmed just yet, right? So there was a hit on benzodiazepine, and if you are familiar with benzodiazepine, those are medications. Like in the nursing world, we say that benzodiazepines all end in Zepam, Zepam. Some medications that you might be familiar with, and I'll differentiate the difference between them by utilizing their brand name and their trade name. And the brand name is what, the generic name would be that's not in stores, right? So like acetaminophen, right? That would be a generic name for Tylenol. Tylenol would be considered a trade or a brand name, which would be the names that you see like in the commercials, right? But Xanax is a familiar medication. Clonopins are a very familiar medication. Valium is another benzodiazepine, and then Ativan. So a lot of these medications are anti-anxiety medications. It could help with that. So generic names that you'll hear might be alprazolam, clonazepam, diazepam, lorazepam. Those are some of those medications that are supposedly in her body, right? But remember, these are the presumptive preliminary results. Cocaine and metabolites, no, not detected, right? Fentanyl, not detected. Methamphetamines and MDMA. So this is methamphetamines and ecstasy. There's a presumptive positive on that. And then opiates, whether that's codeine or morphine, not detected. Opiates like hydrocodone, right, known as Vicodin, or what's another name for Vicodin? We don't even call it Vicodin's not even around anymore. Why am I blanking right now? Where are my nurses at? Where are my nurses at? What's another name for hydrocodone? It's not Vicodin anymore. And then phencyclidine. So that PCP. Lortabs, there you go. That's another name for hydrocodone, right? Yeah, Lortabs. Oxycodone is kind of like Percocets, right? But it's different from hydrocodone. Hydromorphone is a very strong drug that we normally give in the hospital. It's also known as Dilaudid. So for anybody who may have been hospitalized and in Norco, there you go. Thank you so much, Raina. Norco is the other medication. We call them Norcos. Thank you, Michis. Thank you, Sherilyn. Appreciate it. There you go. See, I keep forgetting. The activists got that lean. So no Norcos, no Lortabs, which is very funny though, right? Because in an interview that SF did with Nancy Grace, he did mention that there were Lortabs that were found in the house. Let me see. Let me just find this really quick. Hold on. So let me see if this is it right over here. I just have to search it manually. Oops. No, not this video. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so we found it. Okay, so let's see here.
Out who owned these pill bottles full of oxy. I'm talking oxy, fentanyl, opiates that could kill a little girl. That's who I'm talking about, Steve Fisher. And once I can identify these people that were living there, whether officially or unofficially, then I have a witness list.
Do me a favor, guys. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button. I'm not asking you guys to donate to this channel. All I'm asking you guys to do is just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. All that does is help me get this video out into the algorithm. And if you guys appreciate the work that we do, you guys feel free to send a super chat or a super sticker. Or if you guys want, become a member, because we have a Discord where these conversations take place 24/7, you guys. And we have very, very, very affordable memberships starting at 99 cents. So if you guys want to become a member, that is totally up to you. If not, we appreciate you guys being here. So thank you guys for hanging out.
See where I'm going, Steve?
Yep, I do. Yes, they were. So
I got to
yes,
get that witness.
The nightstands were being used. There's no doubt, and you can tell that they're in the master bedroom there was female products, and the bathroom was completely filled with things where it wasn't just an overnight type of thing. It was like a living situation, and they also had like gaming stations set up and whatnot in the rooms for different people.
Okay, gaming stations don't mean anything to me because D4VD could be using those gaming stations. He's online playing games constantly, so he could just wander from room to room. I need evidence.
Do me a favor, drop a Nancy Grace emoji in the chat.
That other people were living there, because I want to try to connect them to these pill bottles, if that is in fact the COD on Celeste. Wait a minute. Again, that's not going to convince a jury, Steve Fisher. Hate to put you on the hot spot. Not, but when you say female products, what are you talking about? Are you afraid to say tampon on the air? Over 50% of the population, we're women. We know what they are. No. Don't be afraid, little boy. What were the female products that, and how much were there to indicate somebody was actually living there? This is important.
There was feminine hygiene products for sure, but there's also a ton of makeup. And makeup bags and hair product that is female based, but there was feminine hygiene products for sure, and there was I think like 6 or 7 separate containers of them, so it wasn't just like an overnight type of thing. There was, because
Steve, the reason I'm parsing products here is because it could be argued that the D4VD David Anthony Burke uses makeup in his videos. So I need something I know he's not going to use, like a big
Alien baby, welcome to the inner circle. Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate your support.
Box of 40 to 60 tampons. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't care if the owner of these pill bottles was a woman, a man. I don't care. I just need to get names, which you can get off pill bottles. Okay. I want to talk about the potential COD and what is the holdup. Joining me is Joanna Nieves.
Okay, so that was discussing the lore tabs that were found in the house. How we feeling? Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Welcome to the inner circle. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get back to this report right over here. So, can you guys see this? So, no hydrocodone, no hydromorphone was detected. So, no Norcos, no Dilaudid. Hydromorphone is definitely one of those medications that's going to be hard to find out on the street. Normally given in like an IV form. It could be dispensed in a pill manner, but not going to be easy to find. Basic drugs, not detected. So I'm assuming that would be, I don't know, who knows what that is. I don't know. Could be like your over-the-counter medications. Let me find out what this means. Hold on. Let me just type this in. Bases GC / NPD. Sorry, you guys. Let's see. Okay, so it says this refers to the classes of drug that are chemically basic alkaline. Common examples tested in the category are cocaine, amphetamines, methamphetamines, some antidepressants, and certain stimulants. The GC is basically gas chromatography, NPD's nitrogen phosphorus detector. So these are the methods in which they ran the test. MS is mass spectrometry. That's how they basically were able to obtain the drug test. So benzos, not detected. So she didn't have any benzos. Designer opioids, inconclusive. So there's a possibility that there may have been some opioids, but wasn't enough to get a hit. No amphetamines, no ephedrine, no methamphetamines, no MDMA. No MDA, sorry. This is MDA and this is MDMA. So this is ecstasy, not detected. So there were no drugs in her system, so they can't use the OD, right? This is basically the legend of what they utilized. Then we get into the photos of her autopsy, which we've went over extensively. This is just a legend of the body parts. And then this is just the reports, basically what they discovered and their process in which they obtained the evidence, and basically just kind of discussing everything in detail. If you guys want me to review this in the chat, you guys can put a 1, then we can read it. Put a 2 in the chat if you guys are okay if we just kind of skip over this part. Up to you guys. This is really up to you guys. I am very, very shocked, right? And I hopped on Rabbit's live, but I'm gonna tell you when I was on her live, everything was very surreal. I don't even really remember what we discussed because I really just couldn't believe what we were reading at the time. you need to lick one of your little hallucinogenic baby frogs. All right, so some of you guys put 2s in the chat, so we can go ahead and skip that. But if anybody wants a copy of the medical examiner's report, let me know. Send me an email, and then I can respond to you with the report. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when this report came out, and I was basically learning everything as we were reading it on Rabbit's live, and this was just totally jaw-dropping. I was so shocked to read everything that I saw. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It was crazy. I still don't know how to feel about it. This is pretty much it for the autopsy report. This is 26 pages. So if you guys want, I'm going to put my email address in the chat. You guys can send me an email. If you guys want a copy of the medical examiner's report, I can email it to you. Let me see. I know some people drop some emails really quick. Let me just take a look. So with the wounds that she experienced 2 wounds that are considered to be the cause of her death. Do you guys You guys believe that it was a very slow or fast death? Scorpion Heart, how's it going? What's up, neighbor? Benzos are you like Xanax or Clonopins? Yep, definitely those examples of the benzodiazepines for sure. Slow death. The hand wounds, if they're defensive wounds, it's very hard to say, right? There's very superficial abrasions, so meaning that they're like scrapes, right? Definitely not some type of wound that you would get if you were fighting back. My thought is that she was probably either like pushed to the ground or her hand may have scraped the ground. The finger picture is on Google. Ooh, I don't know if I want to see it. I hope it was fast because of the liver stab. I don't know. It's hard to determine. It's hard to tell. Leah said, please read the emails that I just sent you. Close by, there it is. Home is empty of release. Why don't you go on Zillow and type in the address because we all know you have. So actually look around inside the home and see the actual layout. Leah, were you not here a few minutes ago? We literally just went through that. But here, for Leah's sake, because she did send a $2 super chat, did read her email, so basically asked to do a tour of the home of the mansion. So we'll do this really quick. So these are just photos of the property that David lived at when the search warrant was served for the house on Doheny Place. All right, so I had a very nice backyard with a very oddly shaped pool. This was a house that was previously owned by Halle Berry. Halle Berry. A very nice, beautiful dining room. God, look at that. Look how beautiful the interior is. All white. Lord, oh Lord. That furniture is crazy. This looks like another desk here. This photo right here, I think is where that TV stood in this video. And if you guys remember, let me see right over here. Hold on. That's facing this direction right over here, where you see the TV is standing on two little chairs, right? So you can see here the TV is it's not even on the wall, you guys. This TV is just propped up on a cushion on these two chairs right over here. These ones right here in the background. Are you talking about the current home where he was arrested at? Wait, Leah, okay, so you're talking about the okay, we can definitely take a look at that house. And we did visit that house the other night. We actually went out to Hollywood and we visited all three properties. So if you guys want to check out that live, we did do that, I want to say 2 days ago. Let me see. Let's go ahead and take a look at the home that he was arrested in. If that's what you guys want to see, we can definitely take a look at that. So here, sorry about that. So this was the house that he was arrested at, right? So if you guys remember that arrest video where he was talking about police were telling him to hang tight or they were gonna shoot his ass. Let's see. Let's pull that up really quick just to kind of put things into perspective. This one right over here.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run or you try to resist, you will get hit with my lethal and get hurt. I got you. If you try to run, there's a canine on premises and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked.
The gate is locked.
You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate. Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run or you try to resist, you will get hit with my lethal and get hurt.
There is no evidence or any reports that the police raided the second property that we all know of is actually the very first one, right? And that's the house on 804.
If you try to run, there's a canine on premises and you will get bit. All right,
So based on the timeline of everything that we know that David was no longer at the 804 place at this time. I want to say they moved out. He moved out of the Doheny property 804 in March of 2025, I want to say. And he immediately moved into the mansion that was owned by the homeowner that's working with SF Investigates. And so soon after that, April 23rd, Celeste may have been dropped off at the mansion house.
the gate is locked. You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
So when we went to this property, we noticed that the neighbor's house is very close to this, and I believe that this was filmed by a neighbor whose window oversees the walkway from where David exited from.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's gonna try to run or you try to resist, you will get hit with my lethal and get hurt. I got you.
Oh, absolutely, Ash. I absolutely remember that chemical compound. So that chemical compound was a derivative. Hold on. Did you actually put it in that chat? Leonardo, let me look this up because I can. Basically it's a derivative of some sort of opioid. We'll play this until I find it. 489120. Is that what it was? X5489120. I don't see anything pop up, but it was like some like chemical compound of an opioid. We talked about it long time ago. Absolutely, you guys. If anybody is in the Los Angeles area, put a 1 in the chat because I want to bring something up and I want to get everybody's thoughts about it. If there's anybody out there, because somebody had brought it to my attention that, you know, it would be an awesome idea to create some sort of memorial for Celeste out in the LA area. And so, you know, I was wondering if I were to put something together where we would create some sort of memorial for Celeste Rivas, if anybody would actually show up and be there if we did one for her. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Should we contemplate and consider putting up a memorial for Celeste in LA? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat. I know a lot of people have brought it up, and they were saying that, you know, be a great idea, but we would need some ideas on where we would do it. Where should we do it? Depends on when. I mean, we obviously take some time to think about it. You know, but we'll figure it out. I think, you know, obviously we won't just rush it. I think we'd sit and we'd plan it, and make it like a little community event type thing. Well, Chloe said SF works for the homeowner, so they want to hide the fact that she was probably ended up in that house. I can tell you right now that there's no belief that she was ever in that property, right? That's one thing that I can confirm. Right outside the jailhouse so David can see it. That would be hilarious if we set that up, forced him to see it. That would be crazy. Oh, could we do spray paint art memorial? Who's gonna do the spray paint? Who's gonna do the art? Because it definitely won't be me. Maybe the beach or something. I wanted to do something like very close to Hollywood, very close to like where her homes could have been, maybe where she may have stayed close to 804, but I don't know if those things would be immediately removed. Well, so the corner store by her house, that corner store is literally like, I don't know, 50 feet away from her actual memorial in Lake Elsinore. So it's very close to that, where she was lured to and unalived. I wonder if, yeah, maybe we should really wait for that. I'm off work. Great work, Flojo. Thank you so much. Have a good night, PhD Gold V. Lauren is doing a rock painting memorial for Nancy Guthrie now. That's awesome. I seen something like that. People were doing like painting rocks and then planning, I guess they were gonna like ship it somewhere and then have them placed in front of her home. Report says she was invited to his Hollywood Hills home, then killed on April 23rd. The other house is by the Strip, not in the hills. Yeah, so the 804 is further south. Was Celeste living in the second property? I don't know. We don't have that confirmed, right? But we do know that she has been to that second property because the delete everything video. That's where that delete everything video was filmed. So we do know that she was there. That's for sure. What else did I have? Oh, you guys wanted to finish seeing this, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the property that she was at, or that David was at the day he was arrested. So this was the home that was supposedly owned by Sandra Bullock. Very nice home. I know, Kelly, this timeline is crazy. Thank you, Crafty Kid. I just received your email. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a video of her getting into an argument with the neighbors. Leah says, you guys know there are 2 underage girls who are 13, 14 years old that are missing that were hanging out with him same time as Celeste, and it's not the 2 girls who came forward and had proof of being with him. Does anybody know the identities of those 2 missing children? Yeah, that's a great point, right? She wasn't living with David if he invited her over. So here, let me just kind of show you each individual property really quick. 804. Here, so we'll take a look at this really quick. So this is property number 1, right? This is the first property that David lived in when he came to Los Angeles. This was the 804 Doheny place. This one is the one that's literally in Beverly Hills. And this area right here is the same exact area where the delete everything video was filmed. Yeah, her voice is in a lot of things, right? Was she staying with her cousin close by? There have been rumors that maybe she was staying with a family member, but nothing confirmed. At least not yet. So this was property number 1. This is the streaming house, also known as the delete everything location. Property number 2 was this property, which was 1368 Doheny Place with the infamous bathroom on 4th of July. Very beautiful property. Very, very crazy. I'd love to go visit this house in person. Oh, Rufio, is that so? I didn't know that. Property number 2 are highly governed by Jewish security services, specifically giving protection and security to their people. Gray Lady down. I'm going to Lake Elsinore in June. My son bought a house there. If you are, and if you stop by the memorial, please make sure that you share some photos. One of our good friends of the channel, Della Dank, actually was just out there at the memorial and sent me a video of it. And she mentioned that the card that we left there in December is actually still up. So that was really nice to know that the card was still there and it wasn't taken down or removed. This is property number 2. This is the place that David was widely known to live at for the longest time. This is the outside. And then after everything went down, he went into hiding. He was over here at this specific area right over here. This is also known as the house formerly owned by Sandra Bullock. Beautiful house too. This property, apparently when he was hiding out here for 7 months, this property costs $17,000 a month to rent. Crazy. This guy had a green bathroom. The fuck? Weird. I think this property was 4-bedroom, 3-bath, $3 million home, $17,000 rent. Oh, have I not been sharing it with you guys? What the heck? Hold on. My bad. So here we go. Let me just share this with you guys. So this is this was the little area where David came out of. And it's believed that the neighbor's house that caught him standing in this area right over here came from this area right over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So here, let me just kind of go through this. I do apologize. I wasn't sharing it. My bad. So this is the house that he was living in as he was hiding out for 7 months. $17,000 a month. 4-bedroom, 3-bath. $3 million home. Beautiful, beautiful home. This is the green bathroom that I was just talking about. This guy had a green bathroom. Got a huge bathroom. This bathroom is just as big as my bedroom. Look, this bathroom right over here has a TV inside, you guys. Look at that. It's got a TV in the bathroom. Must be nice. One of those new and improved toilets. It's got TVs randomly everywhere. I think at the time he was arrested, I do believe he was alone. And if I'm not mistaken, Blair Burke was already aware because there's video of Blair Burke at the scene. So she was probably already tipped off that the arrest was coming, and she made it there. We'll definitely check SF's tweets to see if he's put anything out. This is random. I don't know if this is considered a room, but it looks like there's a gate up here. That's weird. Or is this considered like a loft area? Maybe storage. This is weird. Okay, it's definitely like a small little loft. The stairs lead up to this loft area. Maybe it's a bedroom. Oh, okay. I don't know. Weird. This is maybe like, I don't know. Really weird. Multiple bathrooms. Okay, so here's a different view. Maybe it's just like a small little living room. Nice little scary long hallways. I'm sure he's paying for this by himself. Yes, Gray Lady, if you do go, please take pictures, send us some. We'd love to see the memorial and what it looks like today. Tammy, why do you feel ignored? No. What email am I using? I'm using the Flojo TV. Hold on, let me see. Did you send me something? You sent me an email? Hold on. Neo said the address of the house was 42369. Oh, okay. I see your email, Tammy. So basically, wait, hold on. Did he? Now I'm gonna have to go back and take a look. Did he? Let's see.
I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
Whoa!
His address is 420 Street. How crazy is that? Neo was predicting something, right? Because we know that David's court appearance took place on the 20th. Oh, Neo. Neo.
I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
He basically said he's doxing him. I know, obviously, it's not what it actually means. He's joking, right? But he does say 420.
Just don't dox me though.
I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
Whoa!
420 Street. Apartment number 6969.
Are you ready?
Are you looking at the address?
I mean,
Hey, when we get in the car, just
Crazy. Obviously, for those that don't know, 420 is a significant day for people who smoke weed, right? Do you say 423? I don't know.
can I flip the screen here? Is there anything leaking? Okay.
Just don't dox me though.
I'm doxing you. Where the address is 420 Street.
Whoa!
Oh, he said 420 Street.
420 Street. Apartment number 6969.
Obviously, Neo's just being a little goofball, just yelling out random little perverted and very tree substance addresses.
Are you ready?
Are you looking at the address?
I mean,
Hey, when we get in the car, just cover the camera until we
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very ironic that he did mention 420, which was literally the day that he had his hearing and his arraignment. So Neo, the little psychic here. Les was unalive. David says, "Woo." David is guilty. Said, I asked Steve Fisher if he would reveal the driver, and he didn't comment. I see no point in SF revealing he knew to the public if he had no intentions of revealing who it was. What good came from that? Yeah, that, I don't know. Yes, Tammy. Hi, Tammy. Flow. See, Tammy, I read your email. So thank you for emailing me, though. I appreciate it. Yeah, isn't that crazy? 4/23 is the date that she was supposedly killed, right? That's a reported date from LAPD and the complaint. And tomorrow is her 1-year anniversary. How crazy is that? For yeah, SF will probably have to testify. He definitely would. Abraham said, I suspect that there's some security camera video that captures her going into that house on the 23rd. That would be weird though, because I wonder how many times Celeste has actually gone to the mansion house. Very symbolic, right? That those dates are happening at the same time. Yeah, I think SF became I think he joined this investigation maybe right around the time when the warrant was served, which was on the 18th. It's believed that she spent some time at this property right over here. This was the 804 property. This is where that delete everything the delete everything video is filmed. Let me see. Here, so I'll show you this video of the delete everything. Let me find it.
Where's your media?
Yesterday marked 7 months since David. That's not it. Hold on.
Where's your media?
I personally don't.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
If you guys can see here, right? You guys can see that there's the window right over here. The stove is right here on the left, and it's very looks identical to. Let me see, just which one's better. Right here. Oops! Why is this? Why did this change? Sorry. So here's this image right here of the house. This is where this video. So the day before that. So the day.
I can tell you.
Sorry, you guys.
Where's your media?
I personally.
No. What the heck? No. Change it. So weird.
Where's your media?
I personally don't.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
It's crazy now that we know a little bit about the details behind what happened. And I don't know if David did something to piss her off during this live stream, but she was basically saying like, no, you didn't.
Where's your media?
I personally don't.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything.
And notice that she said graping kids, so multiple, right? So I'm curious if there was a time where Celeste may have found out that she was not the only one.
It's like a dog because they didn't go with the silver.
Season it. It's already seasoned, but it's Alfredo.
Seasoning.
Chat. Pray for his career, chat. Are we done? Are we?
We need to delete this.
Are we? Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Can we delete anything? You done for, bro? Y'all are not done? Now you're gonna abstain? Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good to have a big fan mix by me? Bro, thank you, Mitochondria. Appreciate you.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
Where's your immediate?
I personally.
So let me find a video really quick, and we'll show this video, and then we'll call it a night. Let's see.
Right there. I'll tell you where that.
Footage of Celeste Rivas having an argument with neighbors months after she went missing.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? Alright, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
Ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders right here, homie. We're Southsiders here. Get it right, homegirl. Shut up with your black talking. Shut up. You talking like you're that girl with your black talking. Yeah. Ain't nobody black right here. What are you talking about? You need to go home. Seriously.
I'm not Mexican. Salvador, you tripping.
Oh my God.
All the way up to the end.
Right there.
So this video basically shows you that Celeste had no problem speaking her mind to anybody, right? Because the people that she's probably speaking to are probably adults, maybe young adults, right? But she had no problem speaking to a married couple. And I think what happened was that they played a prank on her and she got really upset. And this was just her response.
I'll tell you where that.
Footage of Celeste Rivas having an argument with neighbors months after she went missing.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? Alright, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
Ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders right here, homie. We're Southsiders here. Get it right, homegirl. Shut up with your black talking. Shut up. You talking like you're that girl with your black talking. Yeah. Ain't nobody black right here. What are you talking about? You need to go home. Seriously.
I'm not Mexican. Salvador, you tripping.
Oh my God.
All the way up to the end.
So yeah, that was Celeste in a video. I don't know if this was September 24th of 2024. I don't know the exact date on this. But this was her returning home. This was also during a time where she was reportedly missing, right? Yeah, he wasn't media training her, he was grooming her. That's exactly what it was. Anyways, you guys, that is going to be it for me tonight. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow's going to be another big day, right? We have the preliminary hearing. Obviously, there's no cameras inside the courtroom, but just make sure you're watching your favorite streamer. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make it out there tomorrow because I was off work Monday and Tuesday, so my ass got to return back to work. But I do appreciate all of you guys stopping by. Thank you guys for allowing me to read this the medical examiner's report to you guys and just kind of giving you guys my interpretation of what we found. To everybody who supported the channel tonight, I really appreciate it. Obsidian became a member. It's me, Carolyn became a member. Jazzy sent a $5 super chat. Crawford Lapria became a new member. Leah Marie actually sent a few. $9.99 super chat, a $2.99 super sticker, and a $1.99 super chat. So thank you for that, Leah. We appreciate you. And Alien Baby became a member. And How the F We Feeling Baby became a member of the Inner Circle. So everybody who joined the Inner Circle tonight, welcome, welcome, welcome to the family. We appreciate you guys' support. Everybody, Thank you guys so much. If you guys haven't already, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and come back to this video. And if you guys can, hype the video. I have no idea how this hype stuff works, so this is all new to me. But if you guys have a second, come back, hype the video. I'll be in somebody's chat tomorrow watching the prelims with you guys. So if you guys see me, just say what's up. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Thank you for everybody that supported the channel. Justice for Celeste. We are one step closer to that day, you guys. David can rot in hell if you ask me. Thank you guys. Good night. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.